What's up, everybody? It's Paul here from RTB, and I'm here with my buddy Courtney from PACT Go.
Man, it's good to see you.
Clinton, tell us more about you and your business and how it works.
Where do I start, Paulie? PACT Physical Therapy was where we started, and we're moving to PACT Go. It's an on-demand platform to allow therapists, to choose their time and hours and when they work and how they work and how they operate their system, their business. And we're kind of, changing the system and, shaking up the industry. It's going to be fun, exciting, and we're ready to launch that product very shortly.
So basically, you're creating a new marketplace for physical therapists to create their own business on their at will or when they want, a gig economy, basically, for physical therapists.
Yeah, basically that. Changing everything that exists right now and changing that whole system around, really giving that power back to the therapist and taking that away from their clinics. Power and stronghold of what they've had. So giving options is really what we're doing, and changing pay scales is first and foremost the major difference. Yeah.
So it's actually a huge paradigm shift, because I've been working with rehab clinics for a while and for the last couple of years, and I see there's an opportunity there to help streamline it in many ways. And obviously this is one where you're taking out the variable costs that are affecting their pay out of their pocket, basically, or out of their, the ability for them to make more money. So now it's really as much as they want to work. I'm sure there's a percentage that's taken out, but at the end of the day, they have the opportunity to make more money if they want.
Absolutely. And much more, looking at national average of wages at $41, $41.80, I think it was. And, the highest pay scale at $122,000. I mean, they can meet that with seeing 5 people a day. So do that math, and no overheads, and doing what they do with our technology, with everything on there from, the billing to submissions of notes to, to scheduling to everything. Everything is done on the app, and that's all they need to kind of progress forward and start their own business and move out of that clinic. It's one thing that they come out of school and, these massive debts, and trying to get ahead, especially in New York City, is a tough thing. And, the chance isn't there for everyone. And some people are stuck in clinics, and they were stuck, or they move away. And when they move away, they go to different areas of the industry. They may love treating, and this kind of lets them do that and lets them build on a practice that basically is theirs, on the back of us, on the back of these hospitals and these doctors who are working with us.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's just dig into it, right? And the business of PACT Go and how it works. And, obviously sales and marketing leadership is my background. And I think there's a lot of opportunity here for that insight. And on the people side, tell me about the people of the business and how you manage it, lead it, et cetera.
So we've got a number of people working with us. When we first thought about this platform and how to do it and how to structure the app itself, we thought who would need involved with this. And that's when I approached a couple of doctors who I knew would be interested in this and have that kind of similar mindset of how this would work. And by doing that and forming those relationships and getting them to kind of brand with us, push the product that we're pushing now. We've from being a small clinic to now getting that attention that PACT Go is getting, and just trying to change that look and feel of what physical therapy is. We've put a good team around us, some people with real backgrounds and some people with real experience, and, it's going to be fun getting into it. I think this, with a team that can push a national and push the way it should be pushed is what we put together. And without naming names, we've got a good crew. Got a great crew.
Yeah. So who are the people that you're targeting this app? So there's two sides, I'm assuming. There's the practitioner side and the patient side, correct?
Correct. Yeah, there's a sign in for it. So there's a login for the therapist. And inside the login for the therapist, they can do their notes, their documentation. They see their schedule, they approve appointments. Basically, everything is done from there. Seeing their schedule, seeing their patient notes, being up to date with patient notes, searching patient portals, just using it the way a clinic would run, but all on the app and all real easy to follow, clean and formatted really right. Everything from the note, once it's done with checkbox system and note taking, can form into a PDF, and that goes onto onto profiles, and patient gets access, we get access, we can see treatment notes from years ago if the patient allows that, and be up to date with what goes on. So that's the therapist side, and they really have a choice too. They can dictate where they kind of work their system, who they see, who they don't see, and try and build their practice. And it's not just building the practice on the road, so to speak, like most places do with travel care. This allows them to build their practice inside of this practice. Mm-hmm. It is their hub, and this is where they will treat out of and also treat on the road throughout the city.
What kind of equipment do they need, I guess, for the treatment? Like, just, obviously it's a very manual job being a physical therapist. So tell me what kind of stuff they would need with them to be able to do their job right.
So everything we have in the facility, we want them to use, and we provide. So there's really, again, like all the facility that we have here and everything about it, they can use and use on the road too. But, we do provide certain things, but again, like it's their business. And first and foremost, they run it like it's theirs too. So any equipment they may need, they may use, they think is going to better the patient and better their overall outcome, we support. And if it's not too heavy and it's not too bulky and you can get it around,
throw it in a backpack and go.
Whatever makes that patient come back and get results.
Nice. So on the patient side, is there a certain persona that you're looking to target and to focus on for the patient?
Specifically, obviously when you're branding something and moving something, you need a target audience, and it's not for everyone. And some people don't have $149 to pay out of pocket. We do the reimbursements for them. We send it in, and the submissions do come back to them. If they're met, they're out of their deductibles, and everything's going to plan, then they will get reimbursed. Again, so we will submit that. It's not for everyone. It's $149. People may not afford that. So you're probably looking at your PPO plans, out of network plans. And in an area like New York, I think it breaks down to about 20% of the insurance carriers do have those PPO plans. So you got to narrow that down again and get percentages of who our target audience is, and from that we can kind of if we're getting even 2% of that field, then it's a huge amount.
It's a nice chunk.
30 million visits here in New York last year. 30 million physical therapy visits. So you do 20% of that, then you break it down again, and the market's there. The market's there, and I believe the demand will be there. People want to get behind people. People want to get behind their business, and that's what it is.
So obviously there's a process behind this and helping build that business. How are the therapists able to scale it? Is it on their own dime? How do they do it?
Yeah, it's on their own dime. So when they log in, they can adjust so they control all their content. Everything on their content is all controlled by them.
They have a profile on the app.
Yeah, and their profile. So instead of going to 5 different clinics, you're going to 5 different profiles, and you're seeing how they would structure their business. You're seeing how they want to be seen. And that matters in this day and age. People are doing that in every other industry, and this one shouldn't be the same. It should be the same, sorry. They shouldn't be held back, and that's why they can dictate their hours, dictate their schedule, open up their schedule when they can be booked. And they can do it on the road too. If they're going to be in a different city and they're going to be there in a month's time, they can open up that to that city. And when you click on cities, you click on therapists available, they'll show. So it's as simple as that. It just allows them to move within the industry wherever they want on their own dime and dictate their schedule like a normal business is. Mm-hmm. And this even gives more freedom than a normal business, to tell you the truth. But I just think when you look at the package and look what we're doing and how it's kind of coming together, and when you give something to people that will better their life, that's it's convenient for the consumer first and foremost. I can't see why this isn't going to be a huge hit in the therapy field.
I agree. So yeah, I mean, it gives the ability for them, like I said before, to start their own business and really scale it, or make it a side gig and say, well, I only see PACT patients on the side on the weekends, or when I'm not working, I'm only working 4 days a week at this clinic, then I can work 3 days doing it on the side on my own.
Exactly. Weekend work, if there's sporting teams that need a therapist on the weekends, they can put in $10 and get a therapist for there, or multiple games too. It opens opportunity up, and it allows that convenience. You can see who's on the map and who's in the area, and you can book them just like you would a cab.
Yeah, like I need a physio for this match this weekend, and we can't find one or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah, it's convenience, and that's really the key to it. And it's opening up opportunity for therapists to be with that convenience and offer that, and from anything, any kind of injuries, and doctor referrals too. So you come and see me, Paulie, or a therapist, I should say, and they suspect you've done your ACL. We guarantee you'll be seen and treated by one of the surgeons or Dr. Kinnanek up at HSS within 48 to 72 hours, direct access. So we're cutting that time down. We're giving direct access to medical professionals, and we're also giving that direct access back and on a time when you choose with the therapist. With the clinic involved and everything else that's going on with it, I think it's a big change, coming.
Yeah. So on the process side of your business, tell me about how you built it out and how you developed the process for the whole thing.
With PACT Physical Therapy or PACT Go?
Well, let's go through both. I mean, obviously, I think PACT Go is really where you're evolving to, and I think that's where the business is going to move in the future. So let's just talk about that.
So you want me to break it all down?
Sure.
We've got a billing side, obviously the hospital side, and the therapist side. So those three sides kind of in the clinic would be the fourth to make it up. Mm-hmm. So everything is involved in there with office managers and, the therapists. We had 72 applications for the job, 72. And I think some come through last night. So in saying that, we're taking 10 to start with, and it's not for everyone. So really trying to get the process of finding the best therapist to be a part of this company was kind of a big process for us, and interviews after interviews after interviews, and just trying to weed out the ones that we didn't think were suitable or not ready for it. And not so much weed out, I shouldn't say that, it's bad, negative, but just to try to cut down and try and find who we're going to launch with was kind of, a process in itself. So that, I think trying to get people to sign up to something that doesn't exist was hard.
You're selling a concept.
Yeah, I mean, given their joining something doesn't exist and hasn't treated yet. So to do that, we have to deal with, some smart marketing and branding and try to capture an audience in a different way, try to make it look in a different light. And I think that was a tough task too, trying to put all that together and give a product that's new and people can trust and people, it's catchy really. And we've done that with some help from Emma Selekins, who's got a big background in journalism and TV and that industry too, and kind of understands it a little better than all of us. So
what's the marketing plan for this then is what?
Yeah. Firstly, we've got to get all the promotional stuff together. Marketing plan is to capture the audience and let them know the product's out there really. And to do that first, we're going to do it in New York. We're going to capture the New York attention and direct the marketing towards that, towards the younger generation and who'll be willing to download the app and use the app in that system. I think there's a huge audience out there for, anywhere from your 16 to 18-year-olds right up to your 45s, 50s. I think that's going to be the big market of people we're going to be targeting. And in the school systems, the arts scene, in the sporting scene too, everything sports and orthopedic is our target for our marketing. And again, it comes back to PPO plans and people don't afford that.
I think neuro would be difficult to treat with this. It would probably be more ortho, sports medicine, more than anything else, right?
Correct.
Yeah, because neuro, you need usually more than one therapist to help with like post-stroke, things like that.
Yeah, I mean, we're launching with a sports orthopedic setting, so that's our target, and those injuries are what we're going to treat to start with, and then we'll look at other areas of physical therapy and see what there's a need for, and see how we can kind of push that product that way. But being good at one thing, I think first and foremost, and building off that, perfecting the product.
Yeah, get that minimal viable product that you can get out to the market right away, and then just think about the different avenues you can go after that, right? And then and try to scale from there. So I think for you, it would be if you can master the orthopedic space in the greater New York City area, you could take it to other metropolitan areas, and that would be the next step for you.
Yeah, easily. Yeah. I think it's definitely what's going to happen. You know, we'll test the market here, we'll perfect the product, and once we're comfortable with it, we're working with the ExecuSearch, and they're going to be you know, going through, and they've got hubs all over their national. They're going to be interviewing and taking it from there from different cities. So we can expand, you know, when needed, and you know, with quality people behind us.
Yeah. So I think the selling the actual, not the technology is not difficult. I think it's more of the service itself you have to sell, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can't. Well, you know what? In saying that, the technology is hard to put together.
I think it was easy. I think it would be easier to sell. Like, hey, this is, you have all your EMR, all your data entry, all the patient records. It's right here. It's easy for me to do. It's just, do you think the service is viable for you as a patient and, you know, as a whole?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think so. And, you know, it's bringing it to the palm of your hand, you know, and bringing, you know, physical therapy to the palm of your hand, just like anything else. Mm-hmm. That's where we're going these days. And the fact that it hasn't gone there, I think people have tried to, you know, I've seen a couple different approaches, and no one's really, everyone's always put themselves first. And that I think is the big changer in PACT, where it puts therapists first in every way. You know, every light, they move forward as they want to move forward. And that's the difference. That's the difference. Once you see the app and download the app, you'll understand exactly how convenient it is and how easy to navigate it is. And that matters. And it really does. Like people download an app, and because it's a little confusing, they'll get rid of that app and they'll never download it again. To structure it perfectly and to have it so easily kind of formatted and not confusing was hard. It was hard to kind of keep going back and changing that and coding that and getting the right, you know, the sequence in order and having it, you know, the thing with the app was I went to, like, there was 4 different places we went to try to get this app done. People say they could do it, then they couldn't do it, and pieces they can and can't, and it's always a struggle to piece that whole thing together. And we finally found the right guys, and now they can, and everything's kind of working the way we want it to work, and you know, linking and syncing and you know, notifying the way we did, and writing all those APIs to link the website with it, with everything that goes on the app. And it wasn't an easy task, and there was a lot to link. It wasn't like you're doing a Tinder app. Yeah. You're linking your real deal things, and you're staying within the guidelines of what HIPAA wants to.
It's funny because we did this in B school, like creating like on basically the operation side of how this works, and back office, and how many different channels you need, and you know, being in technical sales for as long as I have with orthopedics and robotics, if the user experience or user interface is not easy for the user, it will not be adopted. It just won't be. I mean, like, you know, our phones, you don't get an instruction manual with these phones. They just say, open them up and start playing with it. And that, because it's a easy user interface. And they have some guides and some videos on there that can help you. But at the end of the day, your job is to play with it. And that's it. So,
and that's what this does. And that's exactly what you're saying there was the hardest thing. And, you know, putting together a team was very difficult too. You know, getting people who are fully committed to what we're doing and getting that back end and the front end all working together, the design of the coding, the app, the web, and linking them also and creating a team wasn't easy. But like honestly, when you see what I'm talking about with the way it operates and how it looks and everything else, you'll kind of see how much time and effort's gone into it. But it really matters. It really, really does, because people will just neglect it right away and not use it and just think nothing of it. And you can't have that. If you're going to succeed, it's got to be, you know, par and way above par. It's got to be perfect. And that's why we haven't launched yet. That's why we've kept it off, and we've done the things that we first wanted to do, and we found the people who could do it. So yeah, you're exactly right. It's really important. It's super important. And I think the most important thing.
So I think the process side for you was creating a user interface that is very easy for your end users to use, as well as the patients and the clinicians, and having it be streamlined, right? And that's really the process side of that, right? It was building it. Here's my idea. How do I get it from point A to point Z? And in between, can I think of any pitfalls that I would not like as a user therapist? To help facilitate the usage of this app. Like, this is clunky, let's fix it. So you probably spent a lot of money getting them to revamp the user experience or the user interface over time.
So many times, and I'm still doing it. I was up till 2:30 last night, dealing with these guys, and they're working. They've got a whole team behind it. They're coding this with 3 different people and trying to get it done, because just, time after time, change after change, it just didn't work, and we're not going to push something that's we're not happy with. So, yeah. And luckily we've got a great designer who understands what we're doing and really cares about what's going on here. So that helps so much. And without that, it would have been a terribly difficult time. I mean, like I said, 4 different companies, and now we're into the 4th, which is a great company to do it with. So
awesome. So on the financial or profit side, tell me about some of the challenges that you faced there along the way, and obviously what are the challenges going forward?
It's a low risk business. Really doesn't have much risk to it at all. It's profitable with every treatment that we see, and because of PACT Physical Therapy, which is a clinic that does manage the overheads of the facility here in New York City,
mm-hmm.
Is really minimal risk, and the profits are. You do the math. I mean, you have a look at it. You do the math on treatments at the low end, at the low scale, and you've got something that's going to get people's attention fast. I mean, just in one area, one industry under this system, and putting people first and changing the system of the way it operates, you're going to create so much havoc in this. It's hard. Clinic, you're going to see a lot of change because they have to. And you're already seeing it now, like professional physical therapy bought out by guys, straight away, these hedge fund dudes coming in and throwing money at it and thinking they're doing it. They lost a lot, and they fired a lot of their trainers only because they had to somehow fix that pay scale that was going on. And they've gone that route of just, hey, we'll fire these guys, and by doing that, we can increase the wages here. Mm-hmm. But you're only increasing wages. You're not changing the lives of people. You're not changing how, they can, better their careers. You're bettering their wage. And yes, that matters, but I mean, it doesn't matter in the long term. And they will find that. They will find that that's going to be the case. And, there's some big changes coming. Clinics will struggle. Why would someone want to stay in a clinic seeing 15 or 20 people a day when they can do the same seeing 3? Why?
Exactly.
They wouldn't.
The margins on clinics, from my research, are about 10 to 20%. So maybe net is about 10 to 5% if you're lucky, and depending on how the clinic is run. Yeah,
exactly. So that's why they're kind of trying to figure that out, and trying to figure it out without using technology. And I think that's where the downfall is. The way why it's important to have the technology is you can run a system that enables $100 per treatment because of the fact that the overheads are very low and the risk is very low too.
So obviously there's probably some kind of, VIG or percentage that's taken for the marketplace for the backside development of software. Is there a percentage for that, or?
What's the breakdown with what we're paying therapists to us? So it's a 1/3. We take a third.
Okay.
It's of the 149. We take the 49. They take the 100.
Yeah.
That's we're going to push these guys, brand them, market them. We're really going to, make the industry look different, catch people's attention, and we're doing that with through the arts and through a different approach, a totally unique approach, and nothing like it has looked like that in physical therapy before. And I think that's going to kind of show the change that we're trying to produce, the change that's coming, and how we're going to do it is being creative.
Yeah, because you could do targeted marketing to certain demographics, to certain people, and for therapists that you have in your group, in your stable, and say, hey, this sunk cost is the 30%. The sunk cost is there. It's for marketing and for you and backside development of the software that makes your life easier.
Well, look, we stayed away from, and we had people try to. I did anyway. They offered to invest early, and I just knew it would slow things down. I didn't want to be. I wanted the vision of what I wanted to be to stay the same, and that's why we now, didn't take any funding. We've done it all on our own, and yes, it was expensive. Yes, to do it was backbreaking and, took a lot of our funds to do it, but in the end, it's going to be rewarding. And now we've got a system and something in place that we can really kind of shake up the system, change healthcare in a way that, create an opportunity.
Nice. So, so RTB means to ring the bell, right? And, I always ask everybody the same question, like what keeps you motivated? You and I are both rugby players, and I wasn't born with this ugly face. I boxed for a long time. Tell me what motivates you and keeps you going.
It's tough. What keeps me going? What motivates me is seeing, the rewarding thing for me is to see the change that's going to happen in people's lives and change that should have been here a long time ago. Really, like there's been a long time clinics have been running this system for too long, and I think the change is what motivates me the most, and to see people's lives change at that in so many ways is kind of like the driving factor right now. And this kind of system will be around for a long time. This system will be in place for next 30 years or whatever it is, but it's going to change, and how it moves and how it operates later on with our vision is kind of something that motivates me to kind of really have an impact on this industry forever. Nice.
So if you go back and change anything in your process of doing this, what would you do differently, or what kind of advice would you give people doing who would possibly look to do a marketplace like you developed type of?
Yeah. Look, a lot of people have ideas, right? How many people act on those ideas? So, backing yourself 100%, understanding, your market and understanding who would benefit and would the product work. And if you have something that you really truly believe in, go for it. And something that I did was kind of stand off with this approach for a while. And that's something that I regret a little bit too. So yeah, like believing in yourself, believing in the product that you have. If it's a good one, go for it and back yourself 100%. Don't wait on it.
Nice. Awesome. Courts, thanks a lot for your time, mate. I appreciate it. And I can't wait to see the launch. When's the launch date?
So I think we're going to rounding things up Friday. I was up late last night. I'll be same again tonight. So hopefully we'll submit it Friday. It'll be hopefully downloadable by next week.
Awesome. All right, brother. Thank you.
Good to see you. Yeah.
All right.
You're around.
I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.